Hello Bard haters, and welcome to another fine We Hate Bards Let's Play. I'm Ben, and this is more Fallout New Vegas. Last time, we did the Boomers quest, and finished up what we could with the NCR. Well, most of what we could. There's a couple other things we can do, hence why we're back here at Camp McCarran yet again. But most importantly, we scored a ton of free weapons and armor off of the Graffs. And unfortunately, we didn't quite get enough to get the one weapon I wanted, which was Esther. I'm really hoping I do at some point get enough caps to buy Esther, because Esther's just... I don't really use mini nukes, but Esther's good even outside of that because of the massive amount of damage threshold that it adds just by having it equipped. The first of the weapons I wanted to get, I actually have equipped, and in case you can't tell what that is the 12.7mm submachine gun, which is, to my mind, the best submachine gun in the game, even better than the Vicky and Vance. The only reason I didn't get it earlier and got the Vicky and Vance instead is because the Vicky and Vance uses 9mm ammo, which is abundant all throughout the wasteland and dirt cheap and really easy to find. 12.7mm, you don't really find it that much unless you're fighting someone else who uses 12.7mm, and the ammo is expensive and it weighs a bit, so it's a little bit harder to use this. This is more of a specialized weapon, but it has a fairly high base damage as well as a really high DPS. But that's not the thing I'm most proud of. The thing I'm most proud of is the thing I have on my back right now, that I'm going to plan to use anytime I see really nasty things coming, specifically Death Claws, because they don't have damage threshold, so high DPS is good against them. So anytime I see a Death Claw coming over the hill, I'll just be like, oh, bitch, you want to fuck with me, huh? You want to fuck with me? Well, take this. Yeah. In all likelihood, I'm probably just going to keep it equipped standard, because due to the fact I've been buying it by the truckload every time I get a chance, I have so much of it now that it literally exceeds the amount of ammo I have for any other gun in my possession. So yes, that was what I did kind of off-screen with the large amount of money that I had left over after selling all the Van Graff stuff. Got a few other things, got my strength implant as well. So now, as long as I have my power armor equipped, I will have a strength 10. And I will be able to use all these weapons, like the anti-material rifle and the minigun, to their fullest effectiveness without needing to burn a perk on a strength upgrade. And now we've come back to Camp McCarran to turn in a couple of quests that I didn't get a chance to do earlier. So first, let's talk to Lieutenant Boyd, who once again is using her Phantom computer. And we'll tell her about Corporal White. We will tell him that a gang called the Scorpions murdered him. And Anderson was a witness.
That's why you don't go
because if we pick the other option, at this point it would make the Followers of the Apocalypse not happy about us.
I owe you for this.
And as for that, she will give us the key to the confiscated goods trunk, which is useful, and we'll get a bunch of experience,
I haven't really sorted
as well as more NCR rep, which we don't even need anymore because I believe I'm idolized with the NCR now. But that gains us a level really early on here, and I need to have a little bit of a think about what I'm going to do with this level. So I decided to bring melee weapons and science up to the nearest 5, because this will allow me to use the chainsaw to its full effectiveness. And Science 85 is one step closer to Science 100, which I desperately need. The rest went into guns, because I want to get that max at 100 as well, because that'll mean any of the firearms that I use, which I have a ton of them now, between the minigun, the submachine guns, my 2 rifles, and this machine. Actually, this machine's a rifle as well. So yeah, all the different guns I have. If I can get that at 100, that'll be, that'll be as high as I can possibly get them. I'll be doing max damage. I'm running out of perks that are actually useful to me, because I'm looking at some of the ones, and Grim Reaper Sprint would be kind of useful if this was Fallout 3, but they vastly depowered it going from Fallout 3 to Fallout New Vegas, because now, rather than regaining all of your action points upon exiting VATS, you only regain 20 if you kill something. And I don't really use VATS that much anyway, so it's not even really that good for me. And I don't actually need weapon handling or the bonus special point in strength, because I now have a 10 strength as long as I'm wearing power armor. So neither of those things does anything for me either. I think I'm going to go with Stonewall just because 5 damage threshold against melee weapons and unarmed attacks. That counts against, attacks from mutated things like, say for example, Death Claws. So if/when I need to go up against Death Claws, I'm going to have this available, and that'll be just that much longer I can last before they slice me into pieces. Anyway, now that I'm level 20 and a little bit better at stuff, I can turn in the other quest I came here to turn in, and that is the There Stands the Grass quest.
She wouldn't let.
And if you want to get your caps for doing it, first you have to talk to Angela Williams, who will pay you 800, which is not a bad little haul for just, talking to someone.
I received. Wonderful.
And we'll give him the
Excellent
data
work.
because
Let
the
me
Brotherhood
see it.
didn't want it,
It'll take a
so
moment
that's
to
always why
decode
you
on
want
my
to go and
permit.
give it to the Brotherhood first. Because, especially if you're going to do this quest anyway, it's much easier to wait till you get Veronica's loyalty quest because that's less work you'll have to do for her loyalty quest. And even though we've warned him that, hey, there's stuff in the vault that looked pretty nasty, that was based on the technology you're talking about, he goes, oh, don't worry, those are just a bunch of savages fooling around with technology they didn't understand. We're the NCR. We know what we're doing with this stuff. And since it doesn't really affect me, I'll just hand it to him and go, alright, I really hope your citizens don't mind becoming mutated plant creatures. So there was one other thing I wanted to do before we actually got onto the main focus of this part. I'm not going to do it quite yet because I just realized I haven't done the upgrading of the different outposts yet. So I'm going to do as many of those as I can as quickly as I can, and then I'll kind of get to the next part. FYI, I'm not going to show any of these off because it's not really that interesting of a quest. It's go to the places marked on the map and just talk to a person. You know what? I lied. I just realized I am going to show off a part of it because one of the places we have to upgrade is Ranger Station Charlie. But if we come back to upgrade Ranger Station Charlie, we will find that since the last time we were here, there's been a bit of an incident. Oh! Damn it. Forgot about that. I knew there were mines in this area under the troopers, but I forgot that there was one under this guy. So the reason I wanted to show this off was because I really like it as a lore point. Because, as I mentioned way back at the beginning of this, the Legion are known for setting traps under bodies, and this is one of the first times we ever actually see it. Because all the bodies in here are trapped. And I think there's another trap right in there that I need to disarm. Like so. If we had tried to walk in, it would have exploded on us, so we needed to get that shot from outside. Anyway, the Legion have raided this place. As I said, they put traps under everybody, and left a bunch of dead bodies in their wake. But that's not even the thing I like about it most. Because over here, there's actually two different, if you probably know, two different holotapes. So we're going to listen to them. I'm going to let you hear exactly what was on those holotapes.
Drove the raiders off. No casualties. In the meantime, patrol's back. They're late. I hope they got a good excuse. What took...
So yeah, the first one is just a guy complaining about, oh, they're taking so long to get back. And, spoiler alert, that wasn't actually the Ranger patrol that came back. That was a different patrol. And that patrol left this message.
This is a message to the NCR from the Legion. We are coming for you. Run, and we will catch you. Hide, and we will find you. No matter what you do, you are all going to die. We took one of the women alive.
So there's that little creepy tidbit on the end. Just the whole, we took one of the people alive. That in a way almost makes it even worse somehow. So I just quickly completed Return to Sender, went to all the different outposts and updated them, like I said I was going to do. And now we're at the part we actually wanted to go to, which is why I went to Boulder City in the first place. And that is, I wanted to come over here and check out the dam real quick. And the first thing I want to do is run all the way down here. Because for some reason, the fast travel location for this area isn't unlocked until you hit right about here. Even though, other than like the very last mission in the game, there's no reason to ever go past that door. So you could theoretically go through this whole game up to the Battle of Hoover Dam without ever having unlocked the fast travel location for Hoover Dam. Don't know why they put it there rather than, say, for example, here. But if you want to unlock that and come back here, which we will need to on a couple occasions, that's what we need to do. Next point of order, as we come inside, there is a snow globe on here that we can go and take back to Mr. House to get that extra 2,000 caps.
Smart move.
And here we are down in the basement area. Now, this is normally where you would go to talk to Colonel Moore. I believe, not in there. I believe she's just a bit further up here in one of these offices. Anyway, Colonel Moore is not why we wanted to come here. What we wanted to do was we wanted to find this particular door right here. Because inside you'll notice there's a bunch of radioactive shit, which I'm not worried about because we've got freaking the Brotherhood armor, which gives us bonus radiation protection. And then one of these crates has 2 sets of Chinese stealth armor. We're going to take both of them. Actually, they don't sell for that much, so we'll only take one. Yeah, I've been meaning to get that for a while, because now that I have the Brotherhood armor, sneaking is going to be really hard as long as I wear it. And I do plan to continue sneaking throughout most of the game. So to help me with that, I'm going to be using the Chinese stealth armor, which will give us a bonus to sneaking, as well as being light. I mean, it's not actually light. It says it's light armor, but it still weighs, I think, 20. Which to me doesn't strike me as light, and I'm so freaking lost right now. I have no idea how I'm supposed to get out of here. Alright, I think I found the way out. But anyway, just to show it off real quick. So weirdly enough, it takes up the armor slot, but not the head slot.
I've heard that
And it looks like this. So, you know, I look like fucking Cyborg Ninja from Metal Gear Solid, which is kind of cool. But since it doesn't take up the head slot, you can actually wear a helmet while you're doing it.
The Legion can count on that.
So I can look like this. So that armor will be really good for sneaking. Admittedly, not quite as good as it would be in, say, for example, Fallout 3. Because in Fallout 3, as I try to remember how to get out of here again, in Fallout 3, the Chinese stealth armor, in addition to giving you a bonus to stealth and being fairly light, also gave you a stealth field, which this one does not. They kind of took that away. So you don't get the miniature stealth boy effect, but you do still get a bonus to stealth. So I'm going to keep it, as I said, just in case I want to sneak and be able to go and do things along those lines. That about covers it for the other things I wanted to do this part. Just finish turning in those quests, head to the Hoover Dam, pick up a couple things. So now that that's done, we can actually go in and deal with the stuff in Gomorrah. And when we come to the receptionist, we'll call in for an outstanding balance, and she'll tell us to go and talk to Kachino. Which we will do eventually. But before we go and talk to Kachino, there is one thing I want to get taken care of. Because, if you'll remember, a few parts ago, when I was working on stuff for the Brotherhood, I had to come here. Nope, not for the Brotherhood. I was working on parts for Arcade Gannon. But I ran into a stripper right down there, named Dazzle, I think it was, or Dazzle might have been that one, I don't know. I ran into another stripper right there, who was a Med-X addict and needed our help. And apparently her name was Joanna. Joanna? Joanna? Yeah, she was supposed to be in her room. She generally stays there. On this occasion, she decided to come back down and make some money, which, you know, good for her. As I was saying, though, we want to get this quest done and out of the way, because as annoying as it is, if we don't do it before we finish the Gomorrah, and when Kachino takes over, because in the lore, Kachino is actually, you know, you find out Kachino has a thing for Joanna, and wants to kind of make her his own personal something or other. So, if you complete the Gomorrah and Kachino takes over, which he will do, then she just disappears and the quest becomes uncompletable. Which is kind of interesting from a lore point, but from a completionist perspective, it's not great, so we're going to do it right now and get it out of the way. And we could have decided to help her for free, but screw that, I want money. The quest Bye Bye Love is now activated, and it's another one of those really annoying quests that involves going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So we're going to be coming in and out of the Gomorrah quite a lot over the next several minutes. What I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to cut down on all the backing and forthing. I'll explain what happens at one end, I'll explain what happens at the other end, or I'll explain what happens at this end right now, and then I'll kind of show you where you have to go to find Carlitos. So I believe what we have to do, and it's been a while since I've actually done it, what we have to do is we have to go to Vault 21, right over there. We have to go into Vault 21, Carlitos is chilling out there. We have to tell him that Joanna wants to run away with him, he'll agree. We go back and tell Joanna, she plans her little, okay, I'm going to sneak out at this point, get Carlitos to this area of the city, and then we'll do that. Then you have to go back and tell Carlitos the plan, he'll go, you have to go meet them at the rendezvous, and then that's the quest. I don't even know, I think there might be one gunfight amidst all of that, but again, it's mostly just go to Vault 21, go back to Gomorrah, Vault 21, back to Gomorrah, and then go wherever else you have to do, and then that's it. It's long and drawn out and annoying, and I really don't like doing it. But, again, if we want the experience and we want the rewards, we have to do that now. Admittedly, there is another advantage for coming to Vault 21, and that is there's another snow globe here. Which I believe is all the snow globes we can get in the base game. Ah, I found Carlitos by accident. I wasn't even actually looking for him, I was looking for the snow globe. But apparently he's in one of these back rooms.
Hey, Scram, come.
I think I just managed to double my reward because I said if you pay me 200 caps, I'll help you out. Ah, there it is. So just to give you guys an idea, in case you were wondering, the entrance is over here. And apparently I went to the right instead of going to the left, and that was where I screwed up. So as I said, now that I've gotten the snow globe and talked to Carlitos, I have to go back and talk to Joanne again. Then I have to come back and talk to Carlitos, and then I think there's one other place I have to go to, and that completes the quest. So I will see you back when it's completed, unless, on the off chance that there is a fight, I will show the fight. Alright, so I finally finished all the backing and forthing I needed to do. It also required me to wait several hours, because you can only talk to her and escape between midnight and 6 in the morning, and by the time I got to her it was 7 a.m. So I had to wait for, I think, like 17 or 18 hours to get to the point where it is now, where I now have to go and meet these two and lead them out.
Let's go.
I also, what are you doing? We're leaving.
We're ready. Let's get out of here.
Okay, then come on. Come. I might also have to wait for Joanna to get here in her slow, plodding way.
Come on. People are...
So eventually they'll make their way out here to this part of Freeside, which is where we had that one bodyguard take us through earlier.
Thanks so much for your help.
And of course, as we do that, we get attacked by Omerta thugs that I'm going to murder. Well, Littlebeard died, but luckily Carlitos didn't.
Pulled this off. For a minute there, I thought we were...
So, unfortunately, Littlebeard died, which sucks for them, but I don't really care. And this random hooker died as well. Oh no. Anyway, that's that quest taken care of, fucking finally. That was quite a lot of work for me to go back and forth and traipse through Vault 21, and at one point I had to go and, I don't think I mentioned who those people were. Littlebeard and Bigbeard were two guns for hire that Caccino told me I could talk to. So I talked to them, and they met us there, and yeah. And one of the biggest side effects of that was I'm now dehydrated and tired again, because as I said, I had to wait for like 17 hours for it to be the appropriate time to run out of the casino. I don't know why, like, there was literally no difference between when I was in the casino earlier and when we actually left. There was the same amount of Omertas running around, and they did... It's not like they tried to like keep their heads down or move in the shadows. They literally just ran out. But as I said, with that obnoxious crap quest out of the way, I can finally go back and do the main quest, which involves coming here and talking to Caccino. Now, it's probably going to be in the card I cut out, but there is a point he will come up to you if you're in the Gomorrah. You have to talk to the receptionist first. And after you've done that, he will randomly approach you and say, "Hey, I heard you've been asking around about me. Keep your mouth shut." And we can tell him that we've heard he's been involved in dirty business. He'll say he doesn't give a shit. And the only way to get him to actually cooperate is you have to... Well, you can pickpocket him, or in his room, there's a copy of his journal where it will list his illicit dealings. So since we have that, we're going to show it to him now. I happen to find a ledger in your back pocket.
Did you get that?
As I said, your back pocket. Is a journal worth 100 caps to you?
I can pay.
I can convince him to pay me 100 caps, and he'll break up
here's
whatever
some
his
caps.
bosses have
Now give me the
planned.
journal.
So the only two steps we have now to take care of, well, there's a few more, but the next two big things we have to do, we have to go talk to Clandon, who is just a random dude that the Gomorrah's hired on for some reason, and we have to talk to Troik about gun shipments. So we're going to go talk to Troik first, because if memory serves, Troik will have... We'll have to leave to find some stuff for Troik anyway. So Troik is down in the lower Brimstone area, just chilling out by these doors.
Who are you?
And if we talk to him, he'll tell you he doesn't know anything.
Caccino.
And we'll tell him Caccino wants us to ask about the guns. We'll tell him we're going to break it up. So he tells us that the bosses are currently blackmailing him because they have evidence he murdered a prostitute. In actuality, what happened was there was a prostitute who was spewing dirt on them. So they killed her and set up Troik for it by
That night,
doping his chems with some extra stuff. So all we need to do is find proof that the Gomorrah set him up, give it to him, and he will help us with the gun shipment. And if we come up here to the upper level, which we can do from right where we found Clandon, this is the upper level of where we met Caccino. And in one of these two rooms, I think this one, there's information in the computer that we can get that will pardon Troik. Alright, So apparently I was wrong. The information is not on the computer. After having to retry the hack a few times, all it does is disengage the lock. So presumably, if you have lock picking, you can just use that and get what's in the safe. And inside is a Troik blackmail note, otherwise known as list of all the horrible shit we've done .exe. So before we head back down to help out Troik, we need to come up here to the suites level, and we're looking for a particular room. It's not going to be any of the suites quite yet. First we're going to explore around through here, and I think it's this room. Butter. I don't know if I have enough to open that up yet either. Right, so before we figure out how to get that door open, we need to come in here and check around a bunch of other stuff. This is actually Clandon's suite I'm in right now, which is, if you go into that first area I came into, it's down to the right. And you'll notice there's a surprising amount of blood on the floor. Now there's one of two ways we could potentially do this. Ah, there's a safe back here. I think this is one of them. Ah yes, the snuff tapes. Which is all we really needed to do.
They say those robots on the strip are running around.
As for what's on them, we'll get to that in a minute
nice
if
to
we
meet you.
can.
Do you need help?
I think the Authority would like to hear these tapes I found.
I think I should kill you.
Yeah, I'll say you can't have the tapes, but...
Fuck, I was getting...
So yeah, we convinced him to go away. So what those snuff tapes are, if we had 100 lockpick or the key to that door, which I think Clandon has on him.
Welcome back to...
As I was saying, if you manage to get into that room, there is a table with a dead prostitute on it and a camera next to it and a bunch of torture tools. Turns out Clandon has some really fucked up little side interests that he likes to go and do, and he takes pictures and keeps tapes of them. So we now have all that information. We managed to blackmail him to leave and never come back. You can also just say, screw you, I'm going to turn this into the authorities. He'll attack you, and you can then kill him, and that'll also solve your problem. I didn't want to do that, mostly just because I'm lazy, and also because I didn't actually have a weapon equipped, so it would have been not difficult, but a bit more of a chore than I would have liked. As for Troik, we can just give him the blackmail note, and he'll give us all the stuff we need to destroy the guns. If you ask him what we can do to take care of the guns, he'll give us some thermite. We'll say, hey, I'll give it here. We could convince him to go and do it, and he'll die if he does. It's not so much that I care about him dying necessarily, it's that there's actually some good stuff in here. Yep, there's a whole bunch of ammo in here, as well as another assault carbine, and a sniper rifle. So we are going to load right up on kit. As for the thermite, we just have to place it on top of a bunch of these crates, which I don't know if Bethesda really knows what thermite is. It doesn't really look like this or work like this. So before we finish this, let's close the door. And then we can activate the detonator, which will make everything go white in front of us for a few seconds as the thermite burns everything. And if you open the door, you will now see everything has been burned to ashes. So with Clandon out of the picture and Troik now on his way out and the guns destroyed, we can talk to Caccino and finish this off. Destroyed all the guns, everything's good, and Clandon is leaving Gomorrah. Right? He'll tell us his plan, and we can convince Caccino to actually fight them because we have a high enough speech. I forgot that was a thing. I actually do have a step 2 of this plan that should make the whole thing farcically easy.
I've heard that elite units
but we'll see what that is when we get. We'll see if I can remember how to do it. For this next bit, I've got my power fist equipped, as we can see. So I'll be ready to punch some things to death. I should have my power armor equipped. Yep. A power armor with a power fist. To do some power killing. Big Sal and Nero are in the room next to the one we were in earlier. Haven't noticed yet that the door's open and so is the safe.
Hey, I'll take care of them when you're ready. Just say the word.
Don't tell them our plan when they're right in front of us. Apparently they're too stupid to notice not only is the door open, but we are planning to kill them and said so right in front of them. Okay, with the speech of 80 we can say as a last request, tell me more about your plan.
Hey, you shitty.
And then, rather than asking what the plan actually is, we'll just say, Nero didn't tell me any of this when he convinced me to take you out.
Fuck.
And we can get them both attacking each other. That's the easiest way to make that work. So, that is that quest, I believe, completed. Yep, the Emeritus have been neutralized, and Caccino is now in charge of the whole thing. Now, that might be... I've heard people express some concern that, oh, we don't want Caccino in charge of the casino, he's a fucking idiot. But I feel like that's kind of the point. Caccino is literally too stupid to come up with plans on his own, which means he'll be really easy for Mr. House to control. And, also, in case you weren't able to figure out what it was that the Emeritus were actually doing, they had put their loyalty and allegiance with the Legion, and we're planning to support them in the fight for Hoover Dam. And Mr. House didn't want that because he didn't want the Legion winning. It was part of some really complex, stupid power play that they were trying to make, where they were going to take over the Strip using the Legion's help, and it wouldn't have worked and would probably have gotten them killed anyway, so we've done them a favor, really. Anyway, that quest itself, as I said earlier, it doesn't take that much time if you know what you're doing. Talk to the receptionist, pickpocket Kachino, talk to Kachino, do those two little things, getting rid of Clandon and Troik, and then, you know, the speech checks to take out Big Sal and Nero. Quite easy. That's why I wanted to make sure I had enough to pad out the video, that there was plenty of other things going on. So with that, we can end it off by talking to Mr. House and finding out what our next thing is. And I believe our next question would be try and convince the Brotherhood to back us up.
Next assignment is to locate and destroy
Wait,
remnants
what?
of the Mojave chapter of the Brotherhood of
What do you mean
Steel.
destroy? No, they're friends
Yes.
now.
Given the
No, they're friends. Yes, there's got to be a possibility of a diplomatic solution, right?
We're talking about a coterie of bulging to defend.
I'll
New
convince him to
Vegas.
do it. I have a
While
hunter's
it's a fight
speech. I can
win,
fucking do
my
anything.
father sidestepped.
Oh, shit. I don't want to kill out the entire Brotherhood, but I'm worried if I say that, it'll end the thing with Mr. House. Alright, so I failed the quest, render unto Caesar, and several other ones, and they hate me. But that's not... Why am I supposed to kill the Brotherhood? Apparently I now have to go and destroy the Brotherhood, which is... It's problematic, because I convinced, Veronica to stay with the Brotherhood and help them out. So I can't imagine she's going to be too pleased about that. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to look up in between now and the next part to see if there's any hope at all of not destroying the Brotherhood, if there's any workarounds for all of this, and as it's failing all these different quests for the Legion and the NCR. See if there's any possible way of me doing this without blowing up the Brotherhood. If that's the only way, I do know how to do it. I know exactly how you're supposed to get rid of the underground bunker. Anyway, yes, I'm going to try and see if there's a way of completing the quest without having to blow up the Brotherhood of Steel. If not, I guess next time we're going to be destroying their bunker and maybe doing a couple other things. Because if that's all I've got to do, I can just move right on to the next step after that, which is either Great Khans or the Ultralux. I don't remember which one is... I think the Ultralux is after Brotherhood and then the Great Khans. Neither of those take too long, so I'll probably just do, you know, Brotherhood and the next one all in one part. Because there's not much else I have to do at this point, really. In the meantime, though, thanks as always for watching, guys. I was Ben, and this was Fallout New Vegas Hardcore Permadeath. See you next time, everyone.